Hey everyone, and welcome. It has been a pretty wild week across the board, and it all comes down to one key number that's sending shockwaves through stocks, crypto, and even precious metals. We're going to break it all down for you, right here, right now.
So let's dive straight into the action and figure out what it all means for your next move.
So here's the big question on everyone's mind. A really important inflation report just landed, and frankly, it caught everyone off guard. We're going to look at exactly how this one piece of news is lighting a fire under, well, pretty much everything.
Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the big picture economic backdrop that's setting the stage. Then, we'll see how U.S. stocks reacted by hitting new highs. From there, we'll jump into crypto and ask, is an altcoin rally finally here? We'll also check in on gold and silver, and then we'll wrap it all up with the one key takeaway you need to remember.
Okay, let's get right into it. We're starting with the main economic news because honestly, this is the spark that lit the fire everywhere else. It's the engine driving all the price action we're seeing.
Now check this out. This is where things get really interesting. The U.S. Producer Price Index, basically what businesses pay for stuff, was expected to come in hot, around 3.3%. But instead, it came in way cooler, at just 2.6%. I mean, that's not just a little miss, that's a huge miss to the downside, and it completely flipped the script for the market.
You know, there's that old saying, one swallow doesn't make a summer. And it's true, you probably shouldn't get carried away by just one data point. But you know the market. It's not waiting around. It is already acting like a whole new season has arrived, and that season looks like it's going to bring some easier money.
And here's how the market is reading this. Traders are now betting big, and I mean big, on 75 basis points in rate cuts from the Fed by the end of the year. That's 3 separate quarter-point cuts. Just the expectation of lower rates is like pouring rocket fuel on market optimism.
All right, so with that backdrop, let's jump over to the stock market. As you can probably guess, the reaction here was fast, and it was definitely positive.
And wow, you can really see that momentum right here. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both just blasted off to new all-time highs. Looking at the charts, the path of least resistance seems to be up, with targets of 7,300 for the S&P and 26,700 for the Nasdaq. The Dow, on the other hand, is kind of doing its own thing, just chopping sideways for now.
But here's a key question. Is this just another rally led by a few mega-cap tech stocks? Well, when we look at the Russell 2000, which is full of smaller companies, we see that it's rising too. That, my friends, is the textbook definition of a healthy rally. It means the strength is broad-based, not just concentrated at the very top. And that is a super healthy sign for the market overall.
All right, let's switch gears and talk crypto. That same theme of more liquidity flooding the system is a massive deal here, and it really looks like it could be the trigger for that broader rally everyone's been waiting for.
I absolutely love this analogy. Just think of global liquidity like the wind. When the wind picks up, it doesn't just lift one boat. It lifts all the boats. And right now, that wind is starting to blow, and it's filling the sails of the entire crypto market. And you can see this playing out on the charts already. Bitcoin's already flashed a buy signal on the shorter-term timeframes. Ripple is looking strong again too. For traders, a common strategy here is to look for a breakout above key resistance. For Ripple, that next big hurdle to watch is that 303 level.
So for something like Ethereum, here's one way you could play it. The momentum is looking really good, so one idea is to maybe get half a position now. Then you could wait and add the other half once it proves itself by breaking and holding above that key resistance level at 4,471.
And here's the really exciting part. This isn't just about Bitcoin anymore. If you look at the chart that tracks the total market cap of altcoins, you'll see it's breaking out too. This is a huge technical signal that suggests the altcoin rally we've all been talking about is finally getting started. Okay, let's move on to precious metals. You know, gold and silver, they just love an environment with falling interest rates and more cash sloshing around. So it's really no surprise that they are shining pretty brightly right now.
Gold's been in a buy zone since late August, and now that it's smashed through a key resistance level, the coast is basically clear. The technicals are pointing toward a pretty ambitious next target, 3777.
And silver is right there with it. The momentum is strong, the trend is up, and the analysis is pointing towards a target of $43.
All right, so let's tie all of this together. We've looked at stocks, crypto, and metals. What's the one big thing you should take away from all this market action? So,
Here it is in a nutshell. That cooler inflation number is the big domino. It's making everyone bet on Fed rate cuts, which is boosting liquidity and pushing stocks to healthy new highs. That same wave of cash seems to be kicking off an altcoin rally over in crypto. And at the same time, it's keeping precious metals like gold and silver locked in a strong uptrend. It's all connected. So that's the lay of the land. Pretty amazing how one number can completely change the mood, right? The big question now is, was this just a flash in the pan? A single swallow? Or is this truly the start of a new summer for investors? Thanks so much for joining us today. If you got some value out of this, we really appreciate a subscription and a like. See you next time.